Sarah, a young woman with a heart full of dreams, enjoys a simple life in a small town. She runs a small café, Sweet Whisk, where she pours all her love into each dish she creates. Each morning, she wakes up early to bake fresh bread, make soups, and prepare pastries. Her café is modest, with just a few tables and cozy decorations, soft yellow lights, a few flower pots, and warm colors that make everyone feel at home. Sarah's family is wealthy and owns a large business in the city. Her parents had planned for her to work for them, but Sarah didn't want that life. She wanted to follow her passion for cooking, so she left her home without revealing her plans. The town people know her as Sarah from Sweet Whisk. They don't know about her family's wealth, and she likes it that way. One rainy afternoon, a man named James enters her cafe. He's tall, with messy hair and kind eyes. He looks like he's been traveling for a while. When he asks for something warm, Sarah suggests her special mushroom soup. He takes a spoonful and his eyes light up with surprise. "This is amazing," he says. Sarah smiles and thanks him, but doesn't think much of it. James doesn't say who he is, and Sarah doesn't ask. She serves him a slice of her famous apple pie, and he's equally amazed. From that day, James keeps coming back. Every time he tries something new, he seems more impressed. Sarah notices, but she doesn't ask many questions. She enjoys their small conversations, where they talk about food, travel, and their favorite places. They're both careful not to share too much about their pasts. James and Sarah's bond grows. One evening, when the cafe is quiet, James asks if he can help her in the kitchen. They laugh as they cook together, with Sarah showing him how to make her special dishes. They create a routine where he stays after closing time, helping her chop vegetables, mix sauces, and try new recipes. Sometimes, they sit in the back with cups of tea, talking until late. Through these moments, James starts to feel happier than he has in years. He tells Sarah that he left a busy life in the city to find something real. Sarah understands this feeling. She too left behind a life of expectations to create a space where she could be herself. Unknown to Sarah, James writes about food in a secret blog, where he describes his journey to different small cafes and restaurants. When he writes about Sweet Whisk, he describes it as a hidden treasure with a chef whose talent is extraordinary. People who read his blog start to come to the cafe to try the food for themselves. Sarah notices her cafe becoming busier, and she's both happy and nervous. She wonders why so many new faces are coming in. She even overhears some visitors talking about the blog post, but she's too focused on her cooking to give it much thought. One day, Sarah's parents visit unexpectedly. They're shocked to see their daughter in an apron, serving tables and cooking food for strangers. Her mother pulls her aside and asks, "Why are you hiding in this little town, Sarah? You should be working in the family business." Sarah feels a wave of frustration. She explains to them that she loves cooking, and doesn't want a life where she's only working for money. Her parents don't understand. They see her cooking as a hobby, not a serious career. They leave, disappointed. And Sarah feels torn. James, who was sitting nearby, overhears part of their conversation. He starts to piece together Sarah's story and realizes she's hiding her true identity. He wants to comfort her, but he doesn't want to push too hard. Meanwhile, James faces his own struggle. He gets a job offer from a popular magazine to review Sweet Whisk officially. They want him to reveal the chef's identity because of all the recent attention on the cafe. James is excited at first, but then he hesitates. Revealing Sarah's story could make her cafe famous, but it could also take away her peaceful life. One night, he decides to be honest with her. "Sarah, there's something I need to tell you," he begins, looking nervous. When he reveals that he's a food critic and has been writing about her cafe, Sarah feels shocked and betrayed. "So, all this time, you were judging my food?" she asks, hurt. "No, Sarah." James replies gently, "I wrote about your food because it's incredible. I didn't plan for things to get complicated. I didn't expect to care about you like this." Sarah spends the next few days thinking about everything. She realizes she can't stay hidden forever. People will eventually find out. And maybe she doesn't need to be afraid. She has friends in the town who love her food for what it is, not because of her family name. After much thought, she decides to host a special dinner at Sweet Whisk. She invites her parents, some locals, and James. She cooks her best dishes, and as everyone eats, she stands before them to share her story. She talks about her love for food and how she wanted to create a place where people could come for the joy of eating. Her parents finally understand, seeing the happiness on her face and the love in the room. They realize that she has built something beautiful and meaningful. With her secret out, Sarah feels free. She no longer has to hide her talent or her story. Her cafe becomes more popular, but she continues to run it with the same love and warmth. James, too, finds peace. He decides to stay in the town for a while, helping her in the cafe and writing about the joys of simple living. They work side by side, their friendship deepening each day. And as they spend more time together, they realize that they've found something special, not only in their shared love for food, but in each other.